Another episode of 5 the podcast. Doing good.
That's
Working
right.
Out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. But today we're going to talk about the 5 strongest superheroes.
5 strongest superheroes. That's right.
Now, this is there's a lot going on with this, based off of
really
factors.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot. So it's really important to understand how you're looking at as far as DC versus Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
are there any non-DC, non-Marvel people on your list?
No. And the reason why I'm saying that is there's lots of Image comic characters and stuff like that, and there's a whole bunch of other characters. But we could be here all day trying to navigate. I
tried, but I just couldn't justify putting one of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the top 5 strongest superheroes list.
Why would he be the strongest?
That's what I'm saying. Is I couldn't justify putting one of them in here.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, that's funny.
I was trying to break out of the duopoly.
Yeah. So here's the deal. I think if you look at I'm going to focus on Marvel and DC. And if you listen to our podcast, Super Stock Show,
mine are all Marvel and DC. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you listen to Super Stock Show podcast, we haven't really talked about DC, but I think
a little
DC,
bit.
Obviously,
we did the Lego Batman movie.
Oh yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
But DC has a different thing. So there was a comic that came out in the 80s called Crisis on Infinite Earths. Have you ever heard about that?
I've heard of it. I'm pretty sure I heard of it from you, but yeah.
So here's what happened, and I have to kind of go over this to understand the actual metrics of superhero strength. Crisis on Infinite Earths, the reason why they had to do that, DC had to do that, is because there was a lot of different stories written by a lot of different authors that conflicted each other. So, for example, Superman, what was Superman's origins? How many Supermen were there? There was Superman, there was Superboy, there was Superdog, all this kind of stuff.
Supergirl.
And there were stories where Superman could technically pick up the moon and throw it. And so once you power creep a character to the point where Superman can grab planets, there's no real.
I don't think Superman can pick up the moon and throw it.
He used to be able to in pre-crisis.
Yeah, I don't think he can. He doesn't. He needs more mass. You would have to have more mass than the moon in order to be able to throw it.
What I'm trying to say is,
it doesn't matter how strong you are. If your mass isn't enough, you're just gonna push. You're just gonna push yourself off the moon.
Well, what I'm trying to say is, there were comics that allowed him to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're
those were stupid comics. Yeah. Okay.
You can make that argument, but what do you do if you have a comic book where Superman can pick up the moon and throw it? So someone had to figure that out. And so when
what they do to correct that?
In Crisis of Infinite Earths, there was a creature called the Anti-Monitor that was destroying universes. And so the idea was they destroyed the entire DC universe and then rebuilt it from scratch. So the idea was all those stories before Crisis or pre-Crisis don't count anymore. And and what they did was they regulated the strength levels, and they figured out, okay, this is the strength levels. And universally, between Marvel and DC, there is a strength level metric for tonnage. So these actually come from a bunch of different sources. The best source you could possibly find is the Marvel Comics trading cards. There was a series of trading cards that on the back of them had the stats of superhero stats, and one of the stats was how many tons they can pick up. So for example, Mike, how many tons can Spider-Man technically pick up? Now this is Spider-Man at his limit. So this is as much he can actually lift. How many?
Jeez, Spider-Man at his limit?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with 120.
No. 16.
16 tons. Okay.
See, he can at his limit. Spider-Man can pick up 16 tons. So Captain America with his super soldier serum can maybe pick up a ton, maybe 2. And then you've got the Hulk who could pick up a certain amount. And so as we go over this, I'm going to use the tonnage method, which is how many tons can this character lift.
Okay.
To kind of gauge. So
I'm going off of vibes.
Yeah, so you have the vibes, so it's gonna be interesting to
discuss. Yeah, I defer to your list as factual. Mine's just more.
Well, the thing is,
mine's all about filling.
Yeah, the thing is, it's especially if you look at the comics are going to be different than the actual Marvel movies. The Marvel movies, they're actually their power limit is way, way lower. way lower, and so it's really important to understand that. All right. You go. I want you to give me all 5 of your lists.
All 5. Okay, yeah, I think that's a good idea for this episode.
And then I'll go do my list. Okay,
right,
so you go for it.
Since there's such different lists, really.
Yeah.
At the bottom, number 5, I've got Thor in that place.
Okay. So if he's at your bottom, this is going to be an interesting discussion. So vibes wise, where'd you get this vibe? Are you talking about the movies? Are you talking about the comics? What are you looking at?
I'm talking about the movies, really, because I don't have much exposure to the comics.
So in the comics, Thor can lift over 100 tons. So we're looking at
in the comics. He can lift over 100 tons.
He is as strong as the Hulk in certain situations.
Really?
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, here's what I was thinking. Yeah, he's godlike, but you don't really need to be that strong for humans to think that you're a god. All of his like magical technology stuff can like play a big role in that, and them thinking he's a god. So I figure he's probably, somewhere around Captain America level strength, really. And then he's got like the magical hammer, and the Rainbow Bridge.
So in the movies,
that all supplements his godlike ability.
Yeah. So in the movies, I feel like they dumbed his powers down quite a bit. And so in the movies, he could probably lift, I would say, maybe 4 or 5 tons. In the movies, in the comics, he can lift 100 tons. So him and the Hulk can go toe to toe without any kind of issues.
I mean, you don't really need to be that strong to lift Mjolnir. You just have to be worthy.
No, Mjolnir is not based off of weight. It's based off of a mystical.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So that's totally different. But I'm sure the hammer by itself, even if you could lift it, it has to weigh at least.
Neil deGrasse Tyson tried to calculate how heavy Mjolnir was one time.
Why would you want to do that?
And he based it off because it's like supposed to be made from
star material,
like a
star material.
Yeah, like a black hole or something, right? Star material. Okay, so he tried to calculate based off of that, and then turns out like somebody put in the comics exactly how much it weighed, and they were different. So,
well, I mean, first of all, this is all made up stuff by a bunch of nerds,
right?
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
and then second of all, you have to. So in the movies, it wouldn't have been interesting to see these superheroes as strong as they are in the comics, but in the comic books, they get power crept, which is. People write stories and they get more and more powerful. So how do you adjust that?
Right.
Like I don't know if technically Thor could probably hit his hammer against a building and knock it down.
It's like cars; they just get bigger every year.
Yeah, and so so at a certain point you gotta kind of cook that down. And it's probably one of the reasons why comic book stories are so hard to deal with because they're so unrealistic. Anyway, what's your number 4?
Number 4, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is not as strong as Thor.
He seems like he's stronger than Thor.
He's not.
Yeah, and he's a spider, so they can lift like what? A lot. Many, many times their weight.
Yes, but he's not.
Spider-Man, like there was a ship that was cut in two, and he held the ship together like a big, big, big.
Yeah, that
ferry.
Was yeah,
that's a lot of strength.
Yeah, but he's not as strong as Thor.
And he stopped a train. Thor hasn't done any of those things.
But that's the problem. See, that's the problem with the different stories you're talking about. Different writers attributed his strength in different ways. So Thor could do those things if he was put in those situations easily without any kind of problems. But if you talk about the movies themselves, Thor's even in the movie, Spider-Man is not as strong as Thor, and especially not in the comics.
I think in the movies, Spider-Man's definitely stronger than Thor.
No.
What has Thor done in the movies that has shown him to be
Hulk? He fought toe to toe with the Hulk and survived. Like Spider-Man can't do that.
Did he really?
Yes, and plus Thor threw the.
I thought he just got out of that fight with his wits, not with strength.
But Thor threw his axe into Thanos' chest and almost killed Thanos. Like Spider-Man's not doing that.
Spider-Man could have done that if he had Thor's axe.
I know you really want Spider-Man to be that strong, but he's not. He's just not. And like it's just no one would ever say that.
All right. Okay.
So I don't want you to go to a party or something and say that and then people make fun of you. That's what I'm trying to just.
All right. And number 3, I've got Hulk.
Okay. Hulk is stronger than Thor and Spider-Man.
Yeah,
together.
yeah. So yeah, that's why he's ranked above them. Yep,
That's pretty good. So here's the
he's
deal.
pretty strong. Hulk is pretty
Hulk's-
strong.
Yes, Hulk's strength is based off a couple things. Hulk, so if Hulk woke up from a nap,
Hulk's really the strongest, but my two that are ranked above him are like ludicrous levels of strength.
Well, we can talk about that, which would be good.
Yeah.
So Hulk, if he woke up from a nap and someone said, "Hey, Hulk, lift this 100 tons," he could do that without any worries. Hulk could actually
of
lift.
course, yeah.
His strength is based off of anger. So the more angry he is, the stronger he is. And so there's been evidence of him lifting an entire mountain. And that was from one of the comics. I forget what it's called.
Yeah.
It was, what was it? Secret Wars.
How do you lift a mountain?
Well, he didn't lift the mountain. The mountain collapsed on the superheroes, and Hulk held it up so the superheroes could survive. So he was actually holding the mountain up so they wouldn't die. And there's been other cases of Hulk's extreme strength. So Hulk, without a doubt, in the Marvel universe, Hulk is the strongest one in the universe. But there's other cases.
I think there's one more that's stronger than him.
No,
we'll see.
I mean, it could be, but
I think there's one that's stronger than him.
But
it was my number two.
But no, this is really important.
Okay.
If you're at Marvel and someone's writing a story, they have this stuff. There's a guy who's in charge of this stuff, and they will say, if you're looking at our metrics, Hulk has to be, because just about what we've talked about, Hulk is the strongest. There are people that can come close, and if they use certain science and other things, they might be able to beat him. But
do you happen to know his tonnage off of the collector's card?
100 tons plus.
Oh, okay.
So
they stopped at 100. Right.
Well, no, there's 100. So 100 tons, then plus because of his anger level, so he can get mad and lift more.
But is there a character whose tonnage is like 150?
No.
Yeah. So they stopped at 100, right?
Well, no. Hulk can lift more than that.
I'm saying
it depends on how angry he is.
Right. But are there any characters that have a tonnage over 100?
No.
Okay. No, that's what I'm saying.
Except the Hulk.
Right. Okay.
What's your
number two? Captain Marvel. She's stronger. She's stronger than Hulk.
Okay. What are you basing this on?
This is the movies.
Comics.
It's the movies.
In the movies, yeah, she's stronger.
She's stronger than Hulk. Yeah.
In the movies, in the comics, no, she's not.
She's got like ludicrous levels of strength in the movies.
In the movies, I would say that she's almost as strong. She is stronger than the Hulk, but not by much. Because remember, she went toe to toe with Thanos.
Right.
And she was able to handle herself just fine. But and Hulk went toe to toe against Thanos and lost the fight.
Yeah, so she's stronger than Hulk.
Yeah, so she's stronger than the Hulk when she has her powers completely flared up under certain under a good conditions. I would agree with that. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, Hulk was definitely angry when he was fighting Thanos.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, in the movies, she is in the movies. If you look at the movies, she is the most powerful superhero in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yep, that's why she's number two.
They established that pretty early and pretty hard.
Right.
And I think the Marvel's movie kind of represented that pretty well, better than her original movie, the Captain Marvel. But that being said, in the comics,
in the Marvel, she kind of really had her abilities under control. In her own movie, she just got them, and she was trying to figure out how to use them and control them and stuff.
Yeah, but in the comics, she's not as strong as the Hulk.
Okay.
But there are several cosmic level beings that are almost as strong as the Hulk. Silver Surfer would be one of them. Captain Marvel would be one of them. Even like Adam Warlock probably could be up there. So there's a lot. The cosmic level beings have always been pretty strong.
Right.
All right. What's number one?
Number one is Superman.
Okay. So he's DC, so it's a different universe.
A different universe. He's stronger than Captain Marvel, I think.
So do you know that Superman and the Hulk fought each other once?
I do not know that.
It was DC versus Marvel. It was a 1990s crossover event where the two universes meld, and then for whatever reason, and then they became one universe. So there was the Amalgam comics. So DC and Marvel published like a series of comic books called Amalgam Universe, where like Wolverine was mixed with Batman. So you had a Batman-Wolverine hybrid. You had Spider-Man, a Superboy hybrid. You had a Superman, Captain America hybrid. It was actually really fun, but it didn't last long. And in the comic, Hulk fought Superman. It's actually interesting. Fans got to vote, so fans got to call a number. So it's like, so for example, Storm versus Wonder Woman, Flash versus Quicksilver, Batman versus Captain America, Superman versus the Hulk, and Wolverine versus Lobo, which was weird. And then the fans voted, and Superman won. I think Superman could win in a regular fight too. I think that Superman is probably the strongest character on your list. By far. But from a storytelling element, a strong superhero, I'm not really sure. If you're looking at comic books as fantasy fulfillment, I'm not really sure why we have superheroes who are that strong. I don't know.
Well, here's another thing is he's just an alien. Like he's just from another planet, and that's what supposedly makes him so strong.
Well,
that seems like it'd make him like, let's say, 3 times as strong as a human max.
Well, no. So the original Superman, when they first wrote him, there was actually a logical reason. Because the Superman baby was born on a planet where the gravity of the planet was much stronger than Earth's. So when he landed on Earth, he was stronger and faster and could jump higher because his gravity was more than Earth.
Yeah.
That's been changed over time so that Superman's powers come from the yellow sun, not from the gravity situation. So they had to kind of fix that. So there was actually a scientific thing where people back in the day during like the 1940s and 30s thought, hey, if we could take a baby, put him in a place where put the baby in a room that has high pressure, and that baby grows up in a room that's highly pressured all the time.
Right.
When he came out of that room, he'd be stronger than us because he had to physically adapt the whole time. Right.
Right.
So like the idea of Superman actually came from these experiments and these thoughts about that kind of stuff in the 1930s and 40s. And so the Superman that you're seeing in the comics is far different than the original Superman they actually thought. Like Superman could not fly when they originally wrote the comic. He could just jump really, really high and stuff like that.
Okay.
So it's kind of not really important to understand, but I think the character's origins are important. Like, for example, Hulk was not nearly as strong as he was now in the comics. He was far, far, far weaker for a variety of reasons. And so it's kind of interesting how you look at when they were created versus now and the strength levels.
Right.
But I just don't understand. Like, it's hard to write Superman because how do you write a character who can fly, who is invincible, bulletproof, heals, super strong? Like, it's hard to create situations besides kryptonite to make him vulnerable.
Right.
So you were. Okay, Mike, your list is not bad. You've left off a couple.
Okay.
You left off a couple who are needed mentions. So I'm going to kind of go over my list. Okay.
Right, yeah.
So hang on.
I defer to yours as the more researched list.
Well, I mean, okay. Yeah,
mine was no research. Mine was all vibes.
All right. So there are characters.
Yours is the definitive list.
All right, that's fair. Okay. Oh, that's a lot of pressure. I'm going to take it. There's a couple characters in this list where my number 5 was actually difficult.
Yeah,
there are two. Right. There's a Marvel character called Sentry, who is technically super strong, and there is the Captain Marvel of the DC universe. Now, Mike, don't get too confused. DC had a Captain Marvel first.
Right. Yeah.
We talked about this, didn't we?
Yeah, I think there were lawsuits and stuff.
Yeah, it's called. So technically, DC can't call Captain Marvel unless it's in.
It's Shazam, right?
Shazam.
Yeah.
Shazam. So
Shazam.
Shazam's technically as strong as Superman and Sentry is, but I don't really. The 4 other characters on this list are iconic and definitive. The number 5s I couldn't really settle on, so I'm just going kind of like But number 4 is Wonder Woman.
Well, what do you have at number 5?
I just told you I couldn't really come up with.
You didn't come up with anything for number 5.
I couldn't. I couldn't. It's either Shazam or Sentry. Like, I just kind of.
Okay, so you got a tie for number 5, and it's Shazam or Sentry.
If I had to pick, it would be Sentry. So Sentry.
Sentry.
But the reason why I don't want to pick Sentry is because he was created in the 90s. and I don't really count that. Because like it's like these other characters have been around forever, and so she's like new. Anyway, Wonder Woman's number 4.
Shazam number 5. All right.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's number 4.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, so there's 2 different ways to look at it. If you look at the comics,
that's a good idea. Yeah,
she's close to as strong in the comics as Superman, maybe as strong.
Wow.
They fought before, and she was able to get some good licks in. In the movies, if you look at Wonder Woman, the movie Wonder Woman, and then you look at the Batman versus Superman movie and the Justice League movie, she is pretty strong too, but not as strong as Superman. But you can't have a list of the strongest superheroes and not put Wonder Woman on this list. She's up there.
Okay.
But again, I don't understand the storytelling interest of writing about a character with that level. I don't understand what's fun about writing a character that can lift 100 tons. Like I don't understand the appeal.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah.
My number 3 character is Thor. Interesting tidbit. During the Marvel versus DC comics, Wonder Woman was able to pick up Thor's hammer.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And
I could see that.
And Storm could too.
Storm.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not sure why Storm was able to pick it up, but I think she was. Very interesting. I'm not sure what's wrong with that.
Yeah,
Then my number 2 is Superman, and then my number 1 is Hulk. The Hulk. I think the Hulk is stronger than Superman.
Well, hello? Why? Why are they? Why is he stronger?
Why is he stronger? There's no factual evidence here. Based off of what I've read in the comics, I just feel like if you take all the feats of strength of Superman and the Hulk, they're very, very close.
So who is your number 3?
My number 3 was Thor.
Thor, okay.
Yeah. They're like Superman and the Hulk are very, very close, but at the end of the day, I think the Hulk is ultimately just a little stronger than Superman is. And I like the idea of Superman not being the strongest superhero, but just being a strong superhero because he has so many other advantages that I feel like and to be fair, he's been killed by Doomsday, which is something that happens, and I feel like the Hulk could probably fight Doomsday to a standstill, maybe. So there's a lot going on in my thought process, but I've always thought that the Hulk deserves the mantle of being the strongest there is versus Superman.
Yeah,
which is fine, but again, like there's been times in the Marvel comics where the Hulk shows up and people are like, I don't know what to do. Like we can't stop him. We can't stop him. He's going to do what he wants. And what do we do? You know,
he's a force of nature.
Yeah, I would say that he's like I think that the most successful Hulk stories have treated him like a force of nature, and I think Superman just isn't quite there. And if you look at the movies, for sure, Hulk is stronger than Superman in the movies.
So now, is your Hulk is stronger than Superman? Is it if they were in a weightlifting competition, Hulk would win, or is it if they were in a one-on-one battle, Hulk would win?
I think that if they were in a weightlifting competition and a one-on-one battle, I think Hulk would win both.
Okay.
But it'd be close. It'd be a brutal fight. It'd be very destructive. And
buildings would topple.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's a hard one, and I think for people who love comic books, it's a struggle because of how they're written and how they're approached. And I think it's just kind of tough because both of them have done things that are equal to the strength levels, and I think that it's just hard to really gauge. But that's it. Like Superman and Hulk, those two are the ones that cause me the most difficulty. After that, it's easy to see who is weaker than them. Like it's so easy. Like I think that Wonder Woman is probably a little stronger than Thor, maybe. But then you've got, and then after that, after Thor, Superman, the Hulk, and Wonder Woman, and maybe even Sentry, nobody compares to those guys. Their strength levels are just way down the chain. Like Spider-Man's not even close to that. She-Hulk, not even close. The Thing, not even close. So it's interesting.
I'm kind of surprised that our lists are so similar. We have 3 of the same people on both of our lists.
In some ways, this is good because that means that the storytelling is consistent. If we had these, I think your Spider-Man pick is very interesting.
He's strong, dude.
No,
he's pretty strong.
He's not that strong. He's just not.
He's super strong.
I think the 16-ton thing for Spider-Man is
like we agree that Spider-Man's stronger than Captain America, right?
Of course.
Okay, because Captain America was on my list, but he got pushed out.
Yes, from either the comics or the movies. That's interesting, Mike. In the movies, I think Captain America and Spider-Man are probably close to being equal strength. In the movies. Hello?
What was I seeing? Someone showed like a comparison of Spider-Man and Captain America dealing with a punch from the Winter Soldier. Mm-hmm. And I think Spider-Man, it was a lot easier for him to take that punch.
Spider-Man caught the punch.
Yeah.
And Captain America
Captain America was struggling.
Yeah, I would say Spider-Man is stronger than Captain America, but not by much.
Yeah, he's multiples. I think Captain America's probably like 5 times stronger than a human, and Spider-Man's like maybe 10. Somewhere around 10x. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah, that's good. That's good thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's our list. That's the 5.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed how similar they are. That's
I'm impressed by your knowledge after all the years of been talking about comic books. I'm impressed with your ability
Super Sideshow. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised and impressed that you're able to do this. Good job.
Yeah, if you like hearing about superheroes from one person that knows a whole heck of a lot about them, that's Jay. And me, who's just kind of a casual movie watcher, go back and listen to all of our back podcasts for Super Sideshow.
Yeah.
It's pretty interesting stuff. I learned a lot over the years.
Yeah. I'm actually curious about people who disagree with this list. So if you are a comic fan and you're hearing this,
good idea.
And you disagree, contact us because I would love to have the debate. I'm sure I'm missing.
Hit us up on Threads.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm missing a few here and there. And we're not even talking about the villains. So that'd be a whole different discussion. And again, the movies and the comics, 2 different ways of looking at it. I think that having super strong characters is fun, but also it's hard to deal with when you're trying to actually write them. It can make it difficult. All right.
It's true.
Mike, how can our listeners my brain just shut off. How can our listeners help me with my brain? How can our listeners
the better the podcast is spread, the better Jay's brain works.
Okay.
His brain activity is actually tied to podcast downloads.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So spread the word. Help Jarvis's brain get stronger and stronger. He'll have an even better 5 strongest superheroes list. The more downloads
share this with your friends and family. It's holiday season coming up, which I can't believe I'm saying this.
Yeah.
This podcast is a great gift. It's free. So all you gotta do is just put get a picture of a QR code, put it into a box, say here, Merry Christmas, and you're done. And then a podcast just for me. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Then it's a new podcast. So review it everywhere. Give it a thumbs up everywhere. Hit the star button everywhere. Do all that stuff.
Yep. All right. Let's see. I was going to say something else. All right. I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, this was your 5 strongest superheroes.
My list is better than Mike's. Just to be clear.
A little bit.